Welcome to Mishna study, Masechet Sheviit, Perek Gimal, Mishnah Gimal. Over here in this Mishnah, very much a continuation of last, where we spoke about adding these dung heaps, these manure piles to your field, taking it out of your home, out of your, could be your courtyard, whatever it is, and we want to put them in your field. So you're not allowed to fertilize your field with it. So we allow you to put them in these, heaps, these piles, and that way it doesn't look like you're fertilizing your field. So we said it has to be after a certain time, and we said that you're allowed to go ahead and add more shovels to each pile, because if the pile is bigger, that's okay, but you can't add more piles to the field, 3 per field. Now this Mishnah continues. Ose Adam et Sadeu, shalosh ashpatot lebetzeah. A person can make his field 3 ashpatot to each betzeah, right? Rambam actually explains this even further in the Hibur, where he explains that a person can go ahead and cover his whole field in just 3 piles. So you have the whole betzeah, and you have 3 piles that cover the entire area of the field. That's okay. Yoter miken kedivrer Rabbi Shimon. According to the Rabbi Shimon, you're allowed to have 4 piles, right? But Tanakaman, last Mishnah said no. Nachach was like him. Chachamim osrim, chachamim are osir. Ad she'amik shlosha or ad she'agbia shlosha. You can't have a 4th pile unless you do something to show that this is not to fertilize the field. How do you do so? You dig 3 tefachim deep, right? So you dig a little ditch of 3 tefachim deep, and then showing, okay, now you know you're not fertilizing the field because you already dug a hole. Or you put a little platform of 3 tefachim high, and then you put the this pile of manure on top. Then it's clear that this is not to fertilize the field, and that is a way you're allowed to add that 4th pile, right? That's how Rambam explains it. Right? It clearly says that this is talking about something in additional to the 3 piles. Now, continuing on, next case, Ose Adam et zivlo otzar, right? A person could go ahead and make all his zevel 1 otzar, right? Otzar literally means a storage, right? He's making it the way the Rash explains it. Rambam also brings this in the Hibur. He doesn't explain over there. In the case of Mishnah, over here, and the Hibur quotes the Rash, and he says, what does it mean? And it means that if a person goes and he makes just 1 pile, he makes 1 pile in his whole field, right? That's okay. That's okay also. But Rabbi Meir oser, Rabbi Meir says, no, you can't do that either, unless you go ahead and dig 3 tefachim deep, or make a platform 3 tefachim high, and then you can put this whole thing on top. If he had a little, right? And the way Rambam explains this is if he had a little fertilizer, right, or a little dung, right, in his manure in his field already on the Shemitah year, right? What is he allowed to do? He's allowed to add to that little by little and create the ashpa and create this dung heap, right? At a time, right? Of course, it's talking about the time when you're allowed to take zivalim out. So he allows you to do so. And Rabbi Azar ben Azariah oser ad she'amik shlosha or ad she'agbia shlosha or ad she'yitena lasela. Right? Rabbi Azar ben Azariah says it's no good. You're not allowed to do so, right? Because over here, someone who sees him and he worries about marit ayin over here, someone's going to see him as be hoshed, and it looks like you're going ahead and you're working the land because you're starting with a small amount. So it looks like, oh, someone may see him and look like he's fertilizing his field. So we say no. The only way you're allowed to go ahead and start with a little bit and add to it is when you dig a 3 tefachim deep or have a platform, or if you put it on top of bedrock, right? Because that is clear that you're not using this as fertilizer, right? But Chachamim over here in this case, right? And halacha is like Chachamim. Halacha is not like Rabbi Meir in the beginning, nor like Rabbi Azar ben Azariah. And halacha is like Chachamim that we mentioned in the beginning, as opposed to Rabbi Shimon, right? And right. So the halacha is you're not allowed to have more than 3 ashpatot, right? You are allowed to make your whole field 1 otzar. The 4th ashpa, if you wanted, you have to dig 3 tefachim deep or on a platform of 3 high. And if you had a little bit, right? If you already had a little in the field and you wanted to add to it, you are allowed to do so.